Hi everyone. Today I'm going to tell you an absolutely amazing story about my cat Kid and a coyote attack that happened this weekend. And the story really is about, it's an incredible testimonial about the power of intuition and the power of doing long-term belief code work to orchestrate perfect timing in your life. And I'll talk a little bit about that and the situations that occur in your life. I'll talk about that a little bit more after I tell you the story. But it begins this weekend, and I had given my little cat Kid, he's a little gray and white cat, he's about 7 years old now, and I had given him his breakfast, and maybe, you know, he had gone outside. He's an indoor-outdoor cat, so I never have any worries about him going outside. I have another cat named Peanut, who's an older cat. He's about probably 14, and he gets to go outside, but only very close to the house because he's blind and he doesn't hear very well, so he can't really get around. Well, Peanut was, on this particular morning on Saturday, he had gone out towards the end of the house, which he doesn't typically do, and so I carried his food out there, his breakfast out there, for him to eat at the edge of the house. And rarely will he go further than that, but I put the food out there and wasn't really paying attention to much else. But I came back into the house, and about 10 minutes later, I got this intuitive nudge about that I needed to check on my cat. And I instantly assumed that meant Peanut, because he was out there by himself and he's a blind cat and he can't hear. but anyway, I immediately responded to the intuitive nudge that I got, and I went out and I saw that Peanut was fine, and I walked out to just pet him on the head, and as I walked out, I could hear this huge frantic noise from birds. It sounded like there were just scores of birds just making and I thought, what is that? And I kind of just tried to ignore it for a moment, you know, just heard it and then just looked back at Peanut. But I got another intuitive nudge to listen again. And I did. I follow my intuitive nudges. I'm highly intuitive. I've been cultivating my intuition for 50, well, since I was a little teeny child, so we could say 60 years and lifetimes before that. But I got the nudge, listen again, and so I listened again. And I could hear, just under all that incredible noise, this sound of what sounded like a cat fight. But it wasn't a cat fight. I mean, I could tell it wasn't a cat fight, but it was definitely a cat in trouble. And I ran around the corner. Probably all this happened from the point I first heard the birds to the point that I hear the cat. I listen again, I hear the cat. I run around the corner, and I go down where I hear it in the wash, the sound in the wash, and there is this gigantic, huge coyote. I see this gray mass in this, it's almost like a big ball, this big gray mass of fur and this little white mass of fur all tangled up with each other. It was a huge coyote attacking my cat. And I yelled, and the coyote let go of Kid and ran. And Kid was in shock. He stood there for a minute, and then he jumped up on the embankment, and he was so, startled and disoriented that he was in a state of shock, that I know he was thinking of running, because that's typically what animals will do in a trauma situation like this. But I know how to communicate with animals. I sent out a very strong message not to move. I just said, Kid, and I said it with my voice too, don't you move. And I went over, I climbed up in the embankment. He tried to jump up into the tree. That would have been a problem too. I told him, don't jump into the tree. He tried to do it, but he was so weak. He was bloody and all this kind of stuff. He was so weak that he could not jump up in the tree. So he stood there, and I just reached my hand around, again, following my intuition about what to do. This could be very dangerous for a human, because you've got a frantic cat that could rip the heck out of you if you handle them the wrong way. But I just brought my arm around, I grabbed him by the neck, I dowsed, I intuited, I wasn't using dowsing, I just intuited that was a safe place to grab him. I grabbed him by the nape of the neck, he wasn't injured there, and picked him up like a big rug. And I've got this big massive cat, he's about a 15-pound cat, and I ran him into the house, put him in the bathroom, and proceeded to take the next steps. Now, as all of this was occurring, the next steps were get medical help immediately. And I started, went to start dialing my vet. My vet wasn't available. I called 3 different vets. There were no vets available, veterinarians' offices open on Saturday or taking emergencies on Saturday. All of them were referring everybody up to Flagstaff, which is an hour away, and I did not have a car. I didn't have a car in the garage. And but synchronistically, this is the perfect timing part. My friend, I had a breakfast engagement with my friend Jack, and Jack arrived while I was in the wash. I saw the car pull up while I was in the wash, grabbing Kid by the neck. By the time I got around to the house to put him in the bathroom and close the door to lock him in there, Jack had already come into the house, and I said, we're going, I quickly made the phone calls. I said, can you take me to Flagstaff? And he rushed me up to Flagstaff. The end of the story is that Kid was able to get medical attention. It did take a little longer than I would have liked, but because we had to go up to Flagstaff, but I had a ride to Flagstaff. I was such a, frantic mess that it was nice having somebody else to drive, and I was able to sit with Kid in his little cage on my lap and console him. He hates driving anywhere with anyone, and I was able to console him, keep him calm as we drove up to the hospital. We got great attention at the hospital. They did x-rays and everything like that. Miraculously, Kid did not have a single puncture wound on his body. Even all that blood, he had a cut in his mouth, and that was part of the blood, but I think that he probably bit the coyote and scratched the coyote enough to get that blood on himself, and he had 1 nail pulled out that also caused a bit of a bloody mess, but he had no puncture wounds, which is, it's truly miraculous in a situation like that. The synchronicity was so incredible in this, absolutely incredible. The fact that Jack arrived at my house, he arrived at about 2 minutes after 8. We were supposed to meet at 8 o'clock. Now I think it's the first time that we've ever gone anywhere together where he's picked me up at my house where he's been late instead of early. He tends to be, he's always been early, but this particular morning he was 2 minutes late. Had he been even on time, I was ready to go. I would have been out the door. We would have been pulling away. I would have never seen what was going on in the wash with my cat. Had we not scheduled a breakfast, a breakfast get together, I would have been able to get to Flagstaff, but I would have had to call around, find a ride, hire a taxi, go to the rental car company to get a car. All of that would have taken time, and it was important to get this cat medical attention immediately, at the very least get him calmed down. Because another thing that can happen in high trauma situations like that is they can be so startled if you can't get calming elements, whether it's energetic or physical drugs, into their system to calm them down. They can have a heart attack, and his heart was just out of control. So one of the first things the doctors did as soon as he arrived, they rushed him in immediately. They got an IV in him. They delivered calming drugs, pain drugs in case he had any internal injuries. It was just boom, 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 like an ER thing in a regular hospital. It was really amazing. But Jack arriving late instead of early. The other thing, because of the breakfast appointment, I had my sandals on. I almost always have my shoes off, or real light slippers that there's no way I could have run into the, bushy, cactusy, rocky wash area to help that cat. I would have had to have come back in the house. I would have had to have, found my shoes or my sandals and then rushed back out. And we're talking, 30 seconds, a minute to do that. That cat, had I been off the mark by even 10 to 15 seconds, that cat would be dead. So the timing was absolutely perfect, from the nudge in the kitchen to being out, to in all the events, to Peanut wanting to eat his breakfast unusually clear at the other end of the house, where I'd have an opportunity to hear that subtle sound under the bird noise of a cat in trouble. It was absolutely miraculous. So the reason I tell you this story is because when the whole event was over and kid's back home now and he's on the mend and he's going to be just fine, definitely still a wee bit traumatized. It's only Monday, so it's only been a day and a half or a day and a few hours, but he's going to be fine. But it was this like 10 second to 15 second window of opportunity for the right things to come together to save that cat. And I really attribute all of that perfect timing and all of the right moves on my part intuitively. I contribute all of it to my lifelong training of myself and learning from other people, but mostly cultivating my own intuitive skills, the intuitive skills that I teach through the Sensar Learning Center today, and the belief code work that I have done now for decades. I teach a lot about clearing belief codes. Most of you who are watching this today will have heard me talk about belief codes before. The event that happened on Saturday was an event where one step after the other, and even set up before the event, was a series of what I call positive synchronicities or positive perfect timing. Every time you clear belief codes, regardless of why you're trying to clear belief codes, it could be because you're trying to heighten your spiritual awareness, you're trying to improve the clarity of your intuitive reads, and belief codes actually clog that up and make you less capable of getting instantaneous, very clear intuitive reads like I was getting that day. It literally clogs up your guidance system. There are beings that can help us, and beings were helping me and kid that day, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. But you get clogged up. The powers of nature, if you will, that can help you can't get the signals from you when you are stockpiled, like most human beings are, with belief codes. And so every time you clear a single belief code, it opens up the channels for clear communication with your higher self, with your soul self, with the intelligences of nature, with animals. It's just amazing how it helps you in that regard. And I'm a very clear channel today for communication and for intuitive reads because of the work I've done on myself. I truly believe this with belief codes for the last number of decades. But you can start seeing an improvement in positive synchronicities and clearer intuitive reads almost immediately after you start doing belief code work. So the other part of all this was, again, that capacity to communicate with the nature kingdom, or the capacity for the nature kingdom to really have a strong link with me. Now, what's all that about, and how does that relate to this story? I don't want to get too teary about this, but here's how the help that I got in this situation. I love trees, and again, many of you have seen my, I'm going to get so emotional on this, but anyway, many of you have seen my seminars on the magical healing properties of trees, who's who at your garden party, different programs like that. In the Sensar Video Vault, I think I have eight different programs on communicating with the nature kingdom, or things that involve enhancing your capacity to understand and connect with the nature kingdom. I've got, by the way, in the Sensar Video Vault, 15 seminars, hour to hour and a half seminars. This isn't even my advanced stuff. This is getting you prepared, teaching you basic belief code techniques, 15 seminars. And I've got 10 seminars in the Sensar Video Vault on heightening your intuitive capacity, developing different types of skills, broadening your intuitive range, how to eliminate fuzzy intuition, that type of thing. So we're talking like 30-something seminars. That the content of those seminars, and I walk my talk. I don't just teach this stuff, I walk my talk. Everything that's in those seminars played a role in what happened with me on Saturday. But one of the things that was very significant was my relationship with the trees on my property. Because as it turns out, it was the trees, this all happened in the wash, and it was the trees that alerted the birds. They saw what was happening, they called, they know my relationship with Kid. They're who gave me the nudge that there was trouble, that I needed to check on my cat. And in the meantime, they were calling the birds. The birds came in and made that cacophonous sound so I would be alerted that there was trouble. And then through that, again, my own intuition, told me, wait a minute, listen again. What is that? And listen again, and I heard the cat. So my relationship with the nature kingdom, and the nature kingdoms, there were also nature spirits that were there and were helping. All of that is a byproduct of spending years cultivating my intuitive capacity, becoming an increasingly clear channel for perfect synchronicity, perfect positive synchronicity, not just with events like that. I have stuff like this happen to me all the time, where the timing is so miraculous. Jack arriving 2 minutes later, my sandals already on my feet, Peanut going, all those things, perfect positive synchronicity, so that an outcome of a potentially catastrophic event can turn out to be something much better, certainly, than it could have been. And that would have been the death of, and a brutal death of, a beloved pet and housemate of mine. So I tell you this story because it's a fantastic story, and I hope it will inspire you to work to develop your intuition. I know you watch my YouTube videos, you periodically may attend some of my free seminars. I really encourage you to take what you're learning from the Senzar Learning Center, from me, and take it to the next level and get some serious training about, and not that that's not serious, not that the YouTube stuff and the free videos that I offer aren't serious, but if you really want to go to the next level with your intuition, if you really want to go to the next level with perfect timing, you need to start going through the seminars in the Senzar Video Vault. The Senzar Video Vault is a massive collection of excellent seminars on cultivating intuition, how to use it in a practical way, how to clear belief codes so that, there's psychic goo, so you can become a clear channel for all kinds of things, for support, channel for effective support systems, how to heighten your awareness and your interaction and the cooperation and relationship you have with the nature kingdom. All these things, high-powered seminars, are in the Senzar Video Vault. Once a year, or twice a year rather, I offer a sale on the Senzar Video Vault, and we're in a sale period right now. So if you wanted to get involved with that, right now is the time you need to do it if you want to save about $150. So get in there, take a look at the Senzar Video Vault. I'm going to post look in the little tagline underneath the video, and or you might get an email directly from me today if you're on my mailing list. But take a look at the Senzar Video Vault. Scroll through the programs that are in there, and if you haven't ever signed up for a Senzar Video Key, sign up for one. If you have previously signed up for a video key and haven't renewed your membership for a key, gosh, you're missing out. I highly recommend you get a new key, because I'm always adding new stuff to the vault. In the next 3 months, I'm producing 3 video key exclusives, kind of like HBO exclusive seminars that only Vault members are going to get access to. So you'll totally miss out on those. They're not going to be offered for free to my general subscriber base. And there's a lot of power in reviewing the material more than once. I go in and I watch my own seminars often. And when I need a pick-me-up, when I need to recall, am I using all the best skills that I know? And the answer very often is no. I forget half the stuff I know, but it's all recorded in the Senzar Video Vault. So all I have to do is go back there and listen. Anyway, I encourage you to take a look at the Senzar Video Vault. Even if you don't do that, I hope this story inspires you today. Work on cultivating your intuition. Work on clearing belief codes, because that opens the channel for effective support systems That opens the channel for very clear intuitive reads. That opens the channel and opens your heart so you can communicate very effectively with the nature kingdom. And again, the nature kingdom really helped me out on this one. Without that help of those trees, my cat would be dead. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to talking to you again next time.